If there is truly a lost art form in this world, it is that of the boner comedy. Movies about young, dumb, and extremely horny dudes going to great lengths, risking life and limb for the sole purpose of partying and getting laid. This trend started in the late 70s with the all-time classic that is Animal House, and carried on through the 80s with films like Porky's, My Tutor, Ski School, and a personal favorite of mine, Revenge of the Nerds.
Ogre! 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 Ogre!
Where are they? I think they're talking about us. No way.
These movies were filled with memorable characters, smoking hot babes, and plenty of hilarious pranks, like panty raids, the old itching powder in the jockstrap, and of course, spying on women in the shower.
Well, the real prank is when I jam my through that hole and yell, "Special delivery!" Oh, dude, I don't think so.
You can't do that, man. You get in a lot of trouble for something like that.
There was a bit of a resurgence of the boner comedies in the late 90s and 2000s, with movies like American Pie and Road Trip leading the way. And the last truly successful one that comes to mind is Superbad from 2007. But in the years since, this particular brand of raunchy, classless, and entirely unsubtle comedy has seemingly faded into obscurity, supposedly because it's not in line with quote-unquote modern sensibilities. Even though I'm pretty sure people still laugh at dick and fart jokes, and likely will until the end of time.
Oh, okay. It's a prank if you don't want to see it, but he shows you anyway.
This guy gets it.
I think I get it.
It's gonna be hilarious. I'm gonna get myself and I will show you what I mean.
Anyway, I mention all of this because it's a great explanation for how and why a game like Leisure Suit Larry, Magna cum laude could ever be made, as it's essentially the boner comedy of video games, taking a lot of inspiration from the aforementioned films, being all about a horny college guy with dreams of partying, banging as many chicks as possible, and ultimately becoming an all-time campus legend. But the big obstacles standing in his way are that he's dumb, dorky, ugly as sin, and almost everybody hates him. So he'll have to rely on some fast talking and plenty of booze if he's ever gonna have a chance at getting laid. The basic plot of the game is that a dating show called Swingles has come to the Walnut Log Community College campus, looking for some sexy college co-eds to be on their show, which our hero Larry Lovage, the nephew of the original Leisure Suit Larry, sees as his opportunity to bag a hot babe and become the legend he always knew he could be. But upon speaking to the host of the show, is told that he doesn't have a chance in hell of getting on. Unless, of course, he can prove he's a bona fide stud by wooing a bunch of girls on campus and earning tokens of affection from each one, which starts him off on his love quest, so to speak. Determined to prove once and for all that he's not a loser, but in fact is the studliest dude in school.
That's it! I say no more to this cruel fate I've been dealt. I'm gonna do this for you, Uncle Larry.
Shut the hell up and now we're trying to fuck.
So am I, sister. So am I.
As far as the story is concerned, it's told pretty loosely, as each girl you'll encounter leads Larry into some chaotic, sometimes disgusting, and often hilarious scenarios that don't really overlap at all with the others. And for the most part, you can play them in whatever order you want, or skip over some entirely. And it's difficult to talk about the story progression in Magna Cum Laude without just listing off a bunch of crazy shit that happens throughout the course of the game. So that's exactly what I'm gonna do. When Larry finds out that the dorky band chick has a weird sexual attraction to the school mascot Twiggy, he dons the costume himself in an effort to turn her on, which works wonders for him as after engaging in some light BDSM play, Larry b***s her while still wearing the Twiggy costume, which she then takes to mean that they are now engaged to be married, forcing Larry to flee the scene.
Larry Lucretia Lovage, don't you walk out that door! I won't let you.
You will be mine, Snip-on.
Larry successfully gets a redneck farm girl back to his room where they're about to make love, but the bottom falls out when she realizes he's not Jewish.
I'm sorry, Larry. I like you a lot. But my parents just wouldn't understand me dating a Gentile.
Larry thinks he's about to the assistant dean's niece when she insists that he wear a on, as she doesn't want to lose her virginity to a dork like him. So, under the cover of darkness, he switches places with her teddy bear and scars her for life.
Gotta go. See you later. Thanks for the beer.
Larry later gets a blow from a mime, and when it's time to return the favor, discovers that he's bitten off a bit more than he can chew.
About a wiener, Larry. Nice, juicy jumbo wiener.
I don't want a wiener. I don't want it.
Larry is tricked by a lab monkey into switching brains with him so he can finally confess his love to the sexy professor he keeps pictures of in his cage, with Larry's only hope for reversing the process being a button on the brain exchanger that he can't quite reach. So he ends up shooting a certain substance out of his cage, impacting the button so hard that the machine activates and switches their brains back. Scenarios like this are really the main reason to play Magna Cum Laude, as for the most part they're pretty damn funny, and sometimes actually kind of shocking that some of this stuff made it into a video game at all. There's plenty of nudity, even if it is just 6th gen era graphics, lots of sexual content, sometimes implied and sometimes very explicit, and tons of crude on-the-nose humor that comes off like it was actually written by drunk college kids. All of these things are what make this game worth playing, as the actual gameplay is not exactly the most engrossing, though it is gross.
I'm in the zone. 55, 56, 57. Oh, you dick!
The thing you'll be doing most in this game is just talking to the various young women around campus, trying your best to win their affections. And this plays out in a minigame where you attempt to guide a lone sperm through an obstacle course of farts, burps, boos, and dialogue options. And basically every red icon hurts you in some way, draining your love meter, and anything green refills it, including the green dialogue options, which help you out with some proper conversational skills. And the red options will have you saying some things that could easily get a guy thrown in jail. And it's in these segments that the top-notch dialogue really takes center stage.
This man has only minutes to live. Looks like I'll have to handle all 15 inches of peen by myself.
Please, listen to me. My engorged man shaft is too big for any one nurse.
This is a rock-hard glistening megaboner, to be sure.
One thing of note though, the drunker you are during the dialogue segments, the more difficult it is to control your sperm. Kind of like in real life. So my advice, sober up before talking to the chicks, either by drinking coffee or engaging in some good old-fashioned public urination. Also, something to keep in mind, some of the girls won't even bother to talk to you unless you're wearing the appropriate clothing, which can be purchased from the various vending machines scattered around the game, along with plenty of bonus items designed to improve your performance, in the mini-games, that is. But you might be wondering how you're supposed to earn money to pay for all this stuff. Well, you can either sell pictures to perverts, or donate some fluids to Captain Slappin's Spank Shanty, which itself is a Pong-style minigame, where you need to ring Larry's bell, if you know what I mean. And that leads me to some of the other mini-games you'll encounter in Magna Cum Laude, primarily the rhythm games and quick time games, both of which repeat quite a lot through the course of the game. The dancing and trampoline games, for example, you'll need to complete numerous times throughout the course of a playthrough, and they're about as basic as this style of gameplay gets, which is to say you'll get bored with them rather quickly. While the quick time game is again exactly what you'd expect, hitting the face buttons as soon as they pop up, and only being allowed a limited number of mistakes. These start out easy enough at first, but do eventually get pretty difficult, even frustratingly so. But if you fail the same segment a few times in a row, the game offers to turn down the difficulty for you. Almost like the game itself is admitting that you probably don't really want to suffer through this, and you'd rather just see how the story progresses. Aside from that, you'll be playing lots of games of quarters, pulling the right thumbstick back and forth to wind up and take your shot. Each time someone makes a shot, the other person takes a drink. And these I found to be probably the easiest mini games to get through, along with the wet t-shirt contest, which has you armed with a super soaker, doing your best to hose down some chicks' bodacious boobs, which, when they're standing only about 6 feet away from you waving around some double D's, is a pretty simple task. In addition to that, there are several mini-games that pop up sporadically throughout the game, such as throwing things to waiting NPCs tapper style, engaging in a bit of photography as the girls perform some sexy poses, and running around an area either trying to inspire people with school spirit or gross them out with a bit of streaking, which at the very least is kind of amusing. So overall, there really are quite a lot of different minigames to play, but none of them are especially fun, and some of them are reused way too many times for my liking, eventually entering into the realm of tedium, where more than anything, you really just want to get these segments out of the way so you can see where the story leads. Because despite the fact that it's mostly just crude, sophomore toilet humor, the writing in this game is actually pretty funny, and at the very least, the story is entertaining. It's just kind of a pain in the ass that before you can actually enjoy it, you have to slog through some repetitive minigames. So while sometimes fun, at least for a little while, the gameplay mostly takes a backseat to the comedy and the presentation.
Where are we going to find sticks?
I got the only magic stick you need right here, baby.
Oh, Jimmy!
Hey, that's not how you play magic sticks.
Speaking of, for the most part, I'd say this is a pretty decent looking game, regardless if you're playing it on the PS2 or on the Xbox, thanks mostly to its over-exaggerated and cartoonish visual style. If the developers had gone for a more realistic look, I could easily see this game being not nearly as funny or pleasant to look at, but instead it looks more like something that Rob-Phrsh would have come up with each girl representing some kind of stereotype, like the redneck farm girl, the Italian mobster chick, the stuck-up cheerleader, and the,
Ooh, five-some. It's been a while since I've done this one.
I'll get my spade count.
They're all fun characters in their own way, and of course, there's Larry himself, who is your classic sleazeball, say anything to get in her pants kind of character, who despite all of his best efforts is usually met with rejection, along with something horrible or emotionally scarring happening to him. And the vocal delivery by actor Tom Dadabo is really good. Just looking at his IMDb credits, it doesn't look like he has any other comedic performances to his name, oddly enough. But he definitely shines in this game, and is one of the main reasons to play it.
What's with you men? What do we have to do to please you?
Well, I've always liked strawberry topping.
Aside from that, the various environments that you'll explore, such as the campus and various areas of the city, are absolutely loaded with visual gags, and they're really fun to explore, up to and including interacting with a variety of colorful NPCs that populate each area. Aside from the voice work, which is pretty good for the most part, the sound design of Magna Laude mostly consists of licensed music from bands like Motley Crue, Right Said Fred, Slaughter, and a couple of tracks from 2 Live Crew, creating a suitably raunchy yet party atmosphere inspiring soundtrack. Because hey, whether you're in the strip club or in the library, whenever you hear "Me So Horny" come over the PA system, you know it's time to get wasted and bird dog some chicks.
Okay.
So overall, while the gameplay in Magna Cum Laude can get really repetitive, and some of the minigames aren't really that fun to begin with, the real reason to play this game is just to have a laugh at the ridiculous dialogue and crazy situations that Larry gets himself into. It's obviously not a game meant to be taken seriously, featuring humor that's about as lowbrow as it gets, but the funny performances by the voice cast will likely have you laughing out loud enough times to justify playing through this one at least once. It's not a masterpiece, but then again, boner comedies never really are. And they don't need to be. They just need to make you laugh. And at that, Leisure Suit Larry certainly is awesome.
Now get out there and be somebody.